Welcome to the Los Angeles City College Chapter Executive Elections for the AFT College Staff Guild 1521A. Welcome to our Guild live event, and welcome to our Guild brethren watching now and in the future. My name is Mark Bergquist. I'm serving on the Elections Committee for these May 22 elections. Let's introduce the Elections Committee members, starting with Bertha Lopez. Bertha, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bertha Lopez, and I work at West LA College.
Thank you, Bertha. Also serving on your election committee is Vazrik Karbidian. Vazrik, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vazrik, and right now at this moment, I'm at ESC, the district office.
All right. Thank you, Vazrik. And my name is Mark Bergquist. I'm currently serving on the elections committee as the elections committee chairperson. We're going to get started. We're going to first introduce our candidates. Can we please have Elizabeth? Elizabeth, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Kreger. I'm running for delegate at LACC.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And we also have Natalie. Natalie, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Natalie Embry. I am running for chapter chair at Los Angeles City College.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. Also running, we have Mitchell Paulin running for the position of e-board delegate. And there, I want to note, especially for the LA City College chapter members, at this time, there is no candidate listed for grievance representative. However, when you receive your ballot, there will be a write-in option. So please take note of that. Now I'm going to hand it over to Bertha to read the chapter executive job descriptions. Bertha, please go ahead.
Okay. You may also find the duties in the Constitution of the Guild website. The job description for chapter duties are: chapter chair is elected to represent their worksite members at executive board meetings and at the worksite. Duties include reporting on a district-wide and worksite meetings to the membership, to the executive board of the LACC chapter and the Guild executive board of the 1521A, scheduling regular consultations with the worksite president to discuss current concerns and issues, and represents and/or appoints members to sit on the worksite, shared governance, hiring, and selection committees, and requests and reviews written reports from attendees on these committees. Working to resolve member complaints, referring grievances or possible grievances to the worksite grievance rep, consulting with the worksite grievance rep, grievance secretary, worksite president, or executive director on contract inquiries to ensure the contract is being interpreted accurately. The chapter chair also serves as a backup for workplace grievance rep if the rep is absent or if there is no grievance rep. Additional duties of the chapter chair are also listed in the Constitution. Okay, so our first round of questions is for LACC chapter chair candidate, Natalie Embry. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. What is your vision for a strong union, and how will you build a stronger AFT 1521A chapter?
So my biggest goal here is to create a lot of knowledge amongst everybody that's serving. So I want to create a community of leaders on our City College chapter that are happy to step in and help distribute information thoroughly with everyone. I know that right now, as serving as both the chair and the grievance rep is beyond overwhelming, and I really need the help of all of our membership to get in and understand how we can work most efficiently as a union together, because it's not a union without each and every one of us. We are the union. So it's not just one leadership person, and we need to foster a community of leaders amongst all of us here.
Thank you. What do you tell our members who are concerned about current rates of inflation and receiving the COLA increase?
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to first and foremost say that COLA is never a raise. So it is absolutely necessary for each and every one of our members to get that COLA, but above and beyond, we need an actual raise. We should not have a single member in our unit under the poverty line in Los Angeles. I can't afford to live up here. It's crazy right now. And I would love that every single one of our members know how strong our negotiations team is fighting to make sure that we actually get a no nonsense raise that will increase over the coming years in this contract. So I know it's hard right now. We are absolutely struggling, but we are striving for a goal that is really important.
Okay, thank you. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you're elected chapter chair?
I am excited to share all the knowledge that I've developed over the past, I would say about 2 years that I've been in the position. So I would like to create not only more meeting opportunities where we can get together and discuss all the items going on with the union, but more recorded opportunities like this, doing trainings on how to do tuition reimbursement and getting your bilingual certification going, all of those kinds of information. Student loans would really be high on my list because I know I've got a ton. So I think creating information that's easily disseminated amongst people using modern technology will really help us to progress as a group together.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you to our candidate, Natalie Embry, for responding to the questions. I will now read the duties of chapter delegate. Delegates and alternate delegates represent their worksite members at executive board meetings and at the worksite. Duties include, but are not limited to, the following: to represent members at the worksite through direction of the chapter chair, to develop awareness of the AFT Staff Guild on the worksite and to develop rapport with worksite colleagues and administration, to plan, organize, and assist the chapter chair with executive board and chapter membership meetings, to understand the Staff Guild constitution and bylaws, policies, and procedures, to participate in the recruitment of new members and members to the worksite executive board, to build representative structure and assist in a worksite communication structure, to attend consultation meetings with the worksite president to discuss current concerns and issues, to represent the Staff Guild for chapter chair appointment on worksite committees, to consult with the worksite grievance rep, grievance secretary, president, and our executive director on contract inquiries to ensure the contract is being interpreted accurately, to assist guild members with inquiries, and to serve as a backup to the chapter chair for worksite grievance rep if the grievance rep is absent for any length of time, or if there is no appointed grievance rep, and when the chapter chair assigns grievance rep responsibilities. Okay, I will now turn it over to Mark for the chapter delegate questions.
Thank you, Bertha. So we have with us at this time Elizabeth Prager, candidate for chapter delegate. So this first question is for you, Elizabeth. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you were, how will you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the big thing that stood out to me is that the role of the delegate is to represent and support the governance structure. And in addition to sort of supporting, I think it also is about building knowledge, really advocating for our membership. Something that came up because I was actually appointed as an alternate delegate when we had sort of a shift in our local e-board and I was brought in. And so this is actually my first time running for election, even though I've been serving as a delegate to sort of fill in our e-board. And what I've learned and seen is that it's really all about us working together and advocating for each other. The thing that I was a big part of was sort of fighting with the board when they were pursuing this legal strategy with the Pion case that would have led to gutting the ADA. And I was blown away by how our union stuck together. I'm a little bit odd in that I also am part of the adjunct faculty union. And I have to say the classified union, we look out for each other in a way that the adjunct faculty union does not seem to. And I value that so deeply. And it's why I want to continue being on the e-board, because this is the union and these are the members and we are the staff that create the colleges. Without us, colleges don't function. And I think that it's so important for us to hold that line and to make sure that in the power structure of the colleges that we get the raises and the benefits that have been so hard fought throughout the sort of many years of the union existing. And so my big vision is to really keep pushing that knowledge, keep growing it, to be a fierce advocate, and to try to bring more people into our e-board. Just like I was brought on, I want to bring in other people so we could grow that strength and hopefully have contested elections in the future where we have 2-3 members running for every position.
Thank you very much for your reply. Next question. Do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
I have to say that, one of the things I've been on is the Bargain Action Committee, and, I'm very regularly at every single e-board meeting with the executive board. And I do think that this e-board has made huge strides in terms of transparency. The sort of the way that the e-board is functioning now, they're really working towards giving every member access to information, dispersing regular bulletins on the bargain process and what has been agreed to, what is still pending, all of the updates that are possible within the limitations of sort of, different things that limit what you can and can't say when you're in the midst of a negotiation process. And I think that what we could do to further increase that is to keep building the list of personal emails, building the list of cell phones, sending out more of these communications to staff that is coming to places where they actually look at them, doing more outreach on campus. I'd love to bring in more members and more classified members into the union so they're more aware of what we're doing. And I think a lot of that, is some of the old school methods of just like finding people and talking to them. And I think that those things would really help grow not only the transparency, but also the trust. And I think that's the big thing about transparency is it's important and necessary because that's how membership builds trust. And also, quite frankly, it's, the union is every single one of us. Like we are the union. Every single one of us creates the union. And the more we participate in the union and the more we know about the union, the stronger the union becomes. Thank you.
Thank you for your reply. Third question for you. How do you plan to support the chapter chair if you are elected? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, so, as a delegate, my duties are to show up to help build agenda items for consultation with the president, to advocate in that room where we're meeting with the, sort of president, vice president, all of the supervisors on our campus to advocate for membership, to attend our committee meetings, to report back, to be engaged. And then also one of the big things, and I want to build on something that Natalie was saying, it's that community of leaders. It's sort of, when there's a chapter chair, they may not be, every single one of us has only so much time. And I think our role as delegate is to step in, and when the chapter chair needs assistance to help schedule meetings, to help schedule chapter meetings, to, if something happens, it is the time of a pandemic. If any one of us is ill, it's really up to us to step in and work to keep the e-board going, to sort of share responsibility when it comes to engaging across the campus and advocating for all of our staff. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your answer to the questions. Now we're going to turn to Vazrik for the next section. Vazrik, please go ahead.
Sure. So the next couple of the questions are for both of the candidates. The first question, I'm gonna start with Elizabeth. What prompted you to become an active member in the union? You have 2 minutes.
It happened because I had a grievance. And I think this is sometimes what happens, right? Like we as members, it's like, okay, great, we have a contract, we do our job. And when something occurred where I had a challenge with my supervisor, when that happens, it's really stressful and intense. And the union and the grievance secretaries and the grievance structure, they had my back, like the union was there for me. And that really inspired in me sort of this drive to be like, this is one of the big functions of the union, is protecting our memberships. And having felt that it was a structure that protected me really galvanized me and led me to want to be more participatory, to be more engaged, to be a part of that structure that helps protect others, you know? And I think that was really the thing that brought me into the fold and sort of lit the passion. I mean, I've always been pro-union, very much, you know, believe in the strength of unions, but it was that very personal experience that helped galvanize me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So, Natalie, same question for you. What prompted you to become an active member in the union? You have 2 minutes to answer.
Gosh, well, I have to say, my very first job in life ever that was not babysitting was a union job. I worked at a grocery store. So I have a history. And the first several years I was with our district, I was not an active member. But it really came down to someone thinking that I would be a good leader in this position. And so they nominated me. I became a delegate, and I was there for about 6 months before our shakeup of situations between officers and our campus leadership. So I was the one that stepped up. So I would love to create an environment that more people feel like the void of a position being filled is something they are compelled to do. And I'm doing my best. It is not always great, but I try to get a little better every day. And I think seeing the passion of the union officers and the chapter chairs on other campuses, that they're really a support structure that I want to help contribute to and to help improve over time. Thank you.
Thank you. So next question, Natalie. Our guild has recently gone through a contentious time. What are your goals for the local in the next few years? You have 2 minutes to answer.
The next few years, I really want to start a relationship with someone that is going to fill the position of our grievance representative, because it's such a pivotal portion of what our campus leadership needs. And I am not doing enough on my own in our grievance process. So I would love to create interest amongst our chapter in getting that ball rolling, getting us to a really strong, significant group of people that are interested in doing this work. And you learn so much more about the campus when you even start doing one committee. There's so much information that it unlocks. And I think creating an environment of learning within our day-to-day jobs is really essential to getting everybody in the know on exactly what's happening with the union. So better communication, more collaboration with additional membership on our city chapter, and making sure that our administration does not push us around, because there's been a lot of chaos with COVID, but we need to stand together to be viewed as a strong unit so that no one messes with any single one of our members. And that is what I am most passionate about. This should be a stress-free work environment. And right now it is definitely not. But I want to move the needle towards progress in decreasing the stress for every one of our members. But I need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. So same question for you, Elizabeth. Our guild has recently gone through a contentious time. What are your goals for the local in the next few years? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think one big goal is to, flesh out the e-board, which means increasing outreach, increasing participation, increasing sort of campus-wide understanding and engagement with the local e-board so that we can build our power. I think that the more people we can encourage to step up and to take on these roles of leadership, which can start out, really just with one committee, showing up to a committee, advocating for the staff and the guild in those committees, not even, just sort of building in sort of those opportunities, encouraging people, growing that sort of base. So that way we have a really deep group of people who are committed and who are learning about the campus, learning about the contract, and then becoming advocates, becoming sort of people who can help and support and engage and help protect the entire membership. And I think that would really make a difference in the culture in the campus and sort of build that unity. And some ways to do that are just sort of like, outreach, engagement, even just like getting together and everyone getting together and having lunch together so we can learn more about each other. I think that sort of building in opportunities to learn. Also, the one big goal I have, which is personal and then would become sort of like campus-wide, is really learning more about the contract. I've, looked at our contract so many times, and our contract is, hundreds and hundreds of pages, and there's so many areas in it that I would want to understand more, because the more we know our rights, the more we can enforce them. There's this saying, it's like, oh, it's time, but just, your rights are your rights as long as you know them. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So the last question, Elizabeth, what are your views on how the district has been handling their vaccine policy and other mandates? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Yeah, this is such a complex question. And I think that for me, one of the things that is a challenge is how it's, just so incredibly political. So on the one hand, we all want to protect each other. We all want to stay safe. We were the unit that was forced to return in person at 100% when faculty was still 70, 80% online. And it was this push that we were the unit that was like used to reinvigorate campuses. I've literally heard supervisors say, we need to make campuses feel alive. And the way they did that was with classified. And while students and faculty were not on campus and the numbers were raging, I think that something that our union, our guild has really carved in, which I think is important in addition to the mandate, are those exemptions, because there's a lot of e-board members who have disabilities, who have different things that make it not possible to necessarily get the vaccine. And that is a challenge, because on the one hand, we want to protect people who are immunocompromised, but on the other hand, there are some people who have medical situations and can't do it. And I think that you have to balance that in any policy. I think that there's more work to be done in the policy. I do think that, and I hope that going forward that work will be done. I do think that it's sort of unprecedented. None of us know how to navigate this situation. I even have, so in my family, I have a couple of doctors who worked on COVID wards, and I'm always in contact with them to try and understand the situation. And even doctors working on COVID wards still have different ideas. So yeah, definitely more work to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So Natalie, the last question for you. What are your views on how the district has been handling their vaccine policy and other mandates? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a very interesting few years. We feel like everything changes every couple of weeks. So we always feel like we're on the back foot. But I think that them very early on recognizing that religious and medical exemptions were going to be important, and helping certain of our membership walk through those processes with them to make sure all their ducks were in a row was very important during the handling of the crisis. And we have so locked down. So we have the 2 entry points to campus. That has really helped to make more of our membership feel safe, at least from the conversations I've had about it. Now, I know there are specific members that are struggling because they are either extremely immunocompromised or live with people who are. And I am beyond committed to making sure that those people can work remotely, and the district needs to keep up with the pilot program. We need to recognize what worked in it and implement that for the people who are terrified that their loved ones are going to die because they came home from work. It is such a dire situation for many people. And we need to respect and understand that a lot of jobs within our unit are capable of being done without micromanagement and someone like feeling like a supervisor is staring over your shoulder. COVID isn't over. We're going to see how this next coming season goes with the possibility of variants happening, and we're going to do our very best to ensure that everyone stays healthy and safe in their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you both for your responses. As we don't have any Q&A asked by attendees, I'm passing the conversation over to Mark for the next section.
And thank you, Vazrik, and thank you to our candidates. Vazrik, please note that for the next, for the closing statements of the candidates, we're going to allow 3 minutes for each candidate.
Sure.
So at this section, we come to our candidates' closing personal remarks. Elizabeth, if you could please give us your personal candidate statement. You have 3 minutes to make your statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I wanted to start with thank you for the opportunity to serve all of you. It's such an honor and privilege to be on the local campus e-board and to participate and engage in this process. And so thank you for that. If I am elected, I will seek to represent all of you, to advocate, to be fierce, to be fearless, and to always be on your side. I think that this is sort of it's an unprecedented time we're living through. And, you know, we're not through it. The pandemic is now just an endemic, and we need to create more opportunities for us to work remotely, to have that flexibility, to have the freedom, and to feel like we have agency in our jobs and positions, and to feel like we are adequately supported. And so I will work hard on your behalf and try to make all those goals happen. I also wanted to take some of my statement and really encourage everyone to write in candidates for the e-board positions that there isn't someone running, especially grievance rep. Please take that opportunity to write someone in. For delegate, Caridad Aodo has been serving. We do get multiple delegates. We don't have as many delegates running as we are allocated, so please use that write-in option. We want to see a full e-board, and thank you so much for this opportunity to run and to serve as a union leader.
All right, and thank you, Elizabeth. Natalie, this is your chance to make your personal candidate's closing statement. Please note you have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I am so excited to serve you in this position, but I want people to run against me next time. I want a campus e-board that is more reflective of the people on our campus. We need people from every department to get engaged. We need the diversity of voices on this e-board to be able to feel like every single person is getting heard and no one's being overlooked. I want a team that is excited to jump in and get the job done. I want to be efficient about everything that we do. And I am so proud to be in this position, but also so desperate to have more of you with us. So just like Elizabeth said, we've got Mitch, who wasn't able to join us this afternoon, but he's serving as first delegate currently. We've got Elizabeth and Kari that are serving as delegates. We would love to have so many write-ins. Keep in mind that people being written in have to be eligible. That means they've been paying dues for at least a year. And we look forward to creating a new e-board that has dedicated membership that wants to make this place run smoother and have less hiccups along the way. So please join us. Thank you for casting your vote. Remember, it's coming in the mail, and we look forward to a new e-board coming up soon. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Natalie. Thank you to Natalie. And thank you to Elizabeth. Our candidates who are with us today. Mitchell couldn't make it to the online forum. I'm going to review the candidates who are on the ballot that the chapter members at Los Angeles City College of the 1521A will be receiving. Listed on the ballot, you will see listed for chapter chair Natalie Embry. There's also a write-in space. For grievance representative, there's no listed candidate, but there is a write-in space. And for e-board delegate, the listed candidates are Mitchell Pollan and Elizabeth Prager, who's with us here, and also a space for write-in. Some concluding remarks. Please be alert for the upcoming AFT National Delegate Forums, which will also be held this month. Because the AFT National Delegates will be elected from across our chapters of the 1521A, those recorded statements will be posted on the same day for your viewing. The AFT delegates represent all of us at the 1521A, and they will be doing so at the National AFT Convention held in Boston, Massachusetts this year. An announcement will be made by email and on the Guild website once the AFT delegate statements to the membership have been recorded for your viewing. Ballots for these elections will be mailed out to our membership on Tuesday, May 10th by AAA, the American Arbitration Association, which has handled our elections in the past and will again for this election cycle. All ballots must be received by 9 a.m. May 31st, 2022 in their ballot box downtown, or mailbox, I should say, in order to be counted later the same day. The election committee encourages our fellow Guild members to mail your ballots promptly so they may be counted. I want to thank the election committee members, Basric Karbidian and Bertha Lopez. I want to thank our candidates, Mitchell Pollan, Elizabeth Prager, and Natalie Embry for their willingness to serve our Guild members. And I want to thank you, our Guild members, for your time and attention. On behalf of the May 22 Election Committee, we wish you a delightful afternoon. This concludes the online forum for the Los Angeles City College chapter of the 1521A College Staff Guild Executive Elections. Remember, you are the union. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.